It's another raw video from your favorite YouTube scout, Draftrawthentic. Yes, I am finally here making another video, and like I said, it's a raw one, so there will be no edits. Anyway, if you can tell by the title, I'm doing the draft forecast for the Carolina Panthers. Now, to explain what a draft forecast is, if you haven't watched any of my videos and this is the first time you watch it, and you are a fan of the Carolina Panthers, first, I will leave a link in the description that where I go through the whole Carolina Panthers 2018 draft. And I go through each player and I give my opinions of what I thought about them, what I saw on tape before the Panthers drafted them. But like I said, what is a draft forecast? For people who don't know, a draft forecast is predicting where players will be 3 years down the road. Now, in doing so, I try to predict who will be the biggest boom pick, who will be the biggest bust pick, and who will be the late round steal. Now, to explain it just a little bit further and ignore that foam, just to explain it a little bit further, the biggest boom and the biggest bust pick will basically me looking at the first 3 rounds or the first 3 players of the draft and me basically picking who's the biggest boom, who's the biggest bust. And then obviously the late round steal is a day 3 pick, which is the 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th round. So without further ado, for the Carolina Panthers, the biggest boom pick, I'm sorry about that, the biggest boom pick in this draft will be Maryland wide receiver DJ Moore. Now, like I said, if this is your first time watching me, I am from Baltimore, Maryland. I am a Maryland guy. I've watched Maryland plenty of times. DJ Moore probably is the best receiver that I've seen at Maryland. And that's including Torrey Smith. And he's neck and neck with Stephon Diggs. I knew Stephon Diggs was going to be a beast, might I add. But just sticking with the Panthers, DJ Moore may be the best receiver Maryland has ever had. Honestly, always reminded me of a Golden Tate / Steve Smith. He's a very aggressive catcher. And that's one of the things that makes a receiver into a number 1 receiver is being an aggressive pass catcher. When you're a guy that kind of lets the ball comes into your arms or just kind of hits your head, no, to me, you have to aggressively attack the football. And DJ Moore does that. And then on top of that, he aggressively runs after the catch. He's not a shift. He won't do a lot of shiftiness, not like that. But just the way he runs with so much power and he runs with so much strength. And he makes sure that he tries to get the first down. And that's what I really, really love about DJ Moore. Also, he's not that bad of a route runner, and obviously his hands are pretty solid. He's had some drops here or there, but he will always make up for it because he is a big play receiver. And he's not that type of big play receiver where one drop pass is just going to he's going to be down on himself. No, he's going to really go after it. He drops one pass, and he's like, no, I'm not dropping the next pass. Every pass, the rest of the passes in the game. That's how powerful DJ Moore is in terms of mentally as in his character. And just how good he is as a receiver when it comes to just being able to make the plays. This guy is always going to be able to make the plays even when he messes up. So he's the biggest boom pick that I think the Carolina Panthers chose in this draft. Now the biggest bust pick, and looking at the 3 names, I was going to possibly go with Rashawn Golden, but I'm not too high on Rashawn Golden anyway. But I'm also not high on Dante Jackson. Now, Dante Jackson is a guy that he's a little bit on the smaller size as a corner. So I'm afraid when it comes to injuries, what may happen to him. Also, with Dante Jackson, there is some inconsistencies. He reminds me of those corners. It's a lot of times where you have these smaller corners or just corners in general that have all the speed in the world. The Justin Gilberts now, and he was a bigger corner. The Trey Waynes, who was a bigger corner but really, really fast. The D'Angelo Hall, and let's say a Dante Robinson that got chosen by the Texans back in 2003, 2004, right? The most common thing with them was that they had great straight line speed, but I guess their hips weren't that great. Because you would think guys that run in the 4.3s as corners, they shouldn't be beaten on a go route or a 9 route by a receiver that runs a 4.5. It doesn't make any sense. It truly doesn't make any sense, but that's what happens. These guys, those type of guys, they get beat on 9 routes a good amount of times. Not all the time, but a good amount of times. And he reminds me of that a little bit. And maybe that scares me a little bit. So it has somewhat, it's a combination of what I saw on tape and then what has happened over the years. Some stuff, it keeps repeating itself. And from what I saw on tape, him as a tackler wasn't that great. He's not an aggressive tackler. As loving cornerbacks, one of the biggest things to me is being able to tackle unless you're an exceptional cover corner. He's not an exceptional cover corner, and then he's not a great tackler. So there's a lot of problems with that. And I know he's got all the athleticism in the world and all the speed in the world, but to me, that really takes away from being a corner in the NFL is when you're a corner like Dante Jackson, it's going to hurt. So we'll see how good this guy becomes in the NFL. And I could be wrong about this, but to me, he has the biggest chance to be the biggest bust in the Panthers draft. Now to go on with the late round steal. I don't want to be biased, but from what I saw, Jermaine Carter Jr., linebacker from Maryland, who I'm surprised he even got chosen in the 5th round. I thought he'd be chosen undrafted or way later. But that tells me that I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm looking at, because the professional scouts is saying how good he is and he's getting picked in the 5th round. Then come on, give me some credit for at least seeing the talent. Now, like I said, I'm from Maryland. I love my Maryland guys. So choosing another Maryland guy may seem biased, but when I looked at all of the rest of the players, the only player I could possibly give it to was Ian Thomas, who's from Baltimore. So that could be a little bit more biased. But the reason why I didn't is because he's got to have... I need to see more production from him from college. And it wasn't as much production as what you will see with Jermaine Carter Jr. as a linebacker from Maryland. And, you just talk about the blitzing, the speed, the athleticism, the cover skills, the tackling, all of the different things that you want from a linebacker he has. Now, he's not the greatest when it comes to shedding blocks and stuff like that. And I'm sorry, the phone keep ringing. But it's a raw video. There will be no edits. He's not as great when it comes to shedding blocks, but he uses his speed and athleticism to his advantage to try to make plays on the ball carrier or whoever is running with the football. And was a natural leader for Maryland. So that's a really huge thing that the Panthers are getting. Now, he was the middle linebacker at Maryland, and I believe they was in the 3-4. Yeah, they was in the 3-4. So, it's a little bit here and there, but he's a guy that will probably naturally fit in the outside linebacker position. Maybe he takes over for Shaq Thomas, who I don't watch a lot of Panthers games, so I don't know how great Shaq Thomas has been. But if he hasn't been that good, then, and please comment to give me the lowdown on Shaq Thomas, because I don't get to watch it as much. But if he hasn't been that good, then I'm telling you, with Thomas Davis his last year, or maybe his last year, because I heard a little rumor that he may be retracting, with a Luke Kuechly, and now you have Jermaine Carter Jr., you could literally have the best linebacking core in the NFL next to teams like the Denver Broncos or the Minnesota Vikings and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll see about that. But anyway, that is my forecast for the Carolina Panthers draft, the whole draft breakdown. Like I said, the Carolina Panthers draft breakdown fully will be in the description below. I did a previous video after the draft, so you'll please check that out. I had a special guest, my brother that lives in Ohio, that is a Carolina Panthers fan. He doesn't get to watch it as much. He's not a huge football fan, but that is his favorite team. So please check out that video. And I did do a separate video with a little bit more for the Carolina Panthers, so please check out that one as well. But if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more content that I have, please subscribe and you'll see a whole bunch more content. Even teams that are for your rivals like the Falcons, the Buccaneers, and the New Orleans Saints. Please check that out. Also, please comment if you think that I was wrong about what I had said in my video. We can debate about it, and we can have this debate, and we can build this draft community that I know that I would like and you would like. And like I said, please comment, please share this video so other people can see this video. Please share the video. I'm trying to get somewhere, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will watch more. Once again, this is Draftrawthentic. I thank you for watching. Goodbye.